Hey Capricorn, welcome to eclipse season. This is your August full moon lunar eclipse forecast. I have a couple of announcements. I'll have all of this timestamped down below. So if you want to skip around, that's great, but I'd prefer you stick around. So here we go. Welcome to all of the new subscribers and the new viewers that have found this channel in the last month. It's really blossomed into something that I could have never dreamed of. Thank you so much for being here. I hope that you enjoy and stick around. And to those of you who've been here before, thank you for coming back. I appreciate it. We are going to be experiencing a really rare eclipse season. We're going to be having 3 eclipses. Normally it's just they come in pairs, but this time it's 3. So eclipse season is known as the thinning of the veil. Historically, eclipses were something that were feared by the natives. However, they really are just to put you back on path that you're supposed to be on the path that that you should be on. So, however traumatic it feels, it's really because you were further off the path than you should have been. And I guess in October, I was really on the other side of the world of my path because that was some pretty traumatic shit. The impacts of eclipses can last up to 6 months. It can be longer, it just depends on what has occurred, but they normally impact for about 6 months. The last lunar eclipse that we had was March 23rd, 2016, and it was at 3 degrees of Libra. This is going to be a prenumbral eclipse, which is where the sun, the moon, and earth are aligned in an almost straight line. This eclipse will be occurring at 25 degrees of Aquarius, and that will be fixed air energy. The fixed signs are known for being goal-oriented or determined, or on the not-so-positive side, inflexible or stubborn. The word fixed comes from the Latin word fixus, which means to latch onto or to fasten. And the Sabian symbol for 25 degrees of Aquarius reads, a butterfly with the right wing more perfectly formed. Sabian symbols were created in 1925 by a clairvoyant named Elsie Wheeler, and they're used to represent 0 to 30 degrees of each zodiac sign of the astrological wheel. All right, Capricorn, I think that's pretty much it for the announcements. Once again, thank you so much for being here. If you stuck through that, it wasn't that long, was it? Cool points for you. All right, I'm going to transition over to your astrology, and this will speak most strongly to Capricorn Sun and Rising, but this is a full moon lunar eclipse, so it may speak to you Capricorn moons out there too. I'll be right back, y'all. Hang tight. Hey Capricorn, I'm back with your astrology. On the 18th of the month, we will be experiencing a full moon lunar eclipse at 25 degrees of Aquarius, and this will be occurring in your 2nd house, Capricorn. The 2nd house is ruled by Taurus, and it's the money and possessions house. It represents your self-esteem, earning ability, your possessions, and money or resources. So you'll be undergoing a possible ending in this situation, in this house, dealing with money and resources or self-esteem and earning ability. But this ending is allowing for new growth to come in, so don't panic. On the 21st, we will have the moon in Aries conjunct Uranus and Eris. I'll have a video link down below speaking about Uranus and Eris, but conjunct means an amplification of the energies present. So we're going to have an amplified response because of the moon or feeling. We'll have it'll be amplified because it'll be shocking or surprising thanks to Uranus. And Eris, the best way you can think about Eris is Xena, if I could speak, Xena warrior princess. Aries is known as a fierce and courageous energy as well. So all of this will be occurring for you, Capricorn, in the 4th house. And the 4th house is home and family. Home can be where you live or where you consider home to be. Family can be your immediate family, including your children and or fur babies. It can also speak to your mother or father or people who you consider to be your parents. Also represents your roots and your foundation. So that can hit on any of those. It'll be a pretty intense response though, and you will feel shocked. Once again, this will be on the 21st, so be aware of that energy and know that it's not going to hit maybe on that exact day, but it will be around that time. On the 22nd, the sun will move into Virgo, which for you, Capricorn, is your 9th house, and the 9th house speaks to long-distance trips, adventure, higher education, philosophy, religion, legal system matters. The 9th house is ruled by Sagittarius, so this may be shining a light on you wanting to go back to school or learn something new, or it may shine light on a new religion or philosophy that you may want to study more on as well. So, on the 24th, it's like we have the eclipse and then boom, boom, right after it. On the 24th, we have another strong energy day. Mars and Saturn will be conjunct at 9 degrees Sagittarius. This will be in your 12th house. But that'll be on top of the fixed star Antares, which is known as the heart of the Scorpion. I'll have a video linked down below that speaks to that energy when it was moving through Scorpio especially, but it had just done the retrograde from Sagittarius into Scorpio. So about this same sort of, well, not the same because Sagittarius and Scorpio aren't the same, but it speaks to the energy of Antares, and I go through what that star really means. So you'll have an aggressive or impulsive response in your 12th house, but it's going to be also met with structure and containment. The 12th house is ruled by Pisces, and it speaks to limitations, repression, karma, self-undoing, and secret enemies. So just understand that this is a pretty, it's a pretty stout energy. It can present itself to be quite dangerous under the secret enemies or self-undoing situations. So just be careful. I highly suggest you go watch that video so you know what that energy is about. On the 29th, we have Venus going home to Libra, and that's in your 10th house. Venus is the planet that represents beauty, love, and harmony, and the 10th house is ruled by you, Capricorn. That is the house of career, status, reputation, authorities or authority figures, and destiny. So maybe we'll have some good news on the work front. On the 30th, we'll have Mercury, the planet of communication, thought, and movement, going retrograde at 29 degrees of Virgo in your 9th house, the house of long-distance trips, higher education, adventures or questing, religion, philosophy, legal system matters as well. So you may be rethinking wanting to go to school or re-evaluating the information that you're trying to gather about the religion or philosophy or the trip that you're wanting to take. So, Capricorn, that's what I'm seeing for you astrologically. I'm going to shift over to my tarot cards and try to get a little bit of meditation on for y'all and ask for the messages to come forth, and I'll be right back, so hang tight. Hey Capricorn, I'm back with the cards. I've been meditating and asking for the general messages for my Capricorn friends to come forth for this full moon lunar eclipse in August. Okay, there goes one card. That's not surprising. I've had a lot of cards kind of just jump out of my hands. I think the only reading I've done where that hasn't happened was Libra. And maybe that's because the last lunar eclipse was in Libra. I don't know. Maybe I'm just reading into things. But I'm going to go ahead and cut for you. And understand, Capricorn, that on top of all of this, you've got Pluto in your sign. And that's a very slow-moving transit, and it is deep transformation and deep renewal, deep healing, but it's a slow process, and you could be feeling like what the hell is going on? That might be part of it. Well, that is part of it. So that's the card that fell out. The bottom card for the overarching theme or the underlying energy, however you choose to look at it, and the top three for clarity. Also going to grab my Healing and Meditation Oracle deck for my Capricorns for this August full moon lunar eclipse. But as I was saying, the Pluto transit is, it's very slow. And life will feel completely, your life, your circumstances will be completely different than they were before the transit started. And I don't have those transit dates in front of me. I spoke of them, I believe, in the new moon video for July. I can't remember. These videos bleed together for me, but I've mentioned it in previous videos. Okay. Alright, that is not the first time that little card has popped out. And the last thing I'm going to pull is a Sacred Rebels Oracle card from the Oracle deck by Elena Fairchild, and the artwork is by Autumn Sky Morrison. I love this deck, and so many of y'all are fans of it as well. I'm so happy I could share it with you. It speaks to the Uranus, not only in Aries, but also in my natal first house. So, that card was definitely... Oh, goodness gracious. These are... You had two cards. Lagniappe, y'all, I'm telling you, everybody, it seems like, has had at least one extra card. So that's cool. Alright. Get my book within hand so I don't have to pause again. Okay. Alright. You have some major arcana that has shown up. Okay. The underlying card, or the overarching theme of this tarot card spread for you, Capricorn, is the major arcana card, the sixth major arcana card, the Lovers reversed. Alright, let's break this down piece by piece. The sixth house, or this being the number 6 card, represents for me the sixth house, which is ruled by Virgo, which may or may not mean something to you. But it's the house of work and health, or the skills and competency that you bring to the services that you provide. As just a major arcana card, the Lovers represent Gemini, or versatility. The fact that it's in reverse could be that you are very inflexible, or somebody around you is being very inflexible. In the upright, it means major decisions or making choices. The fact that it's in the reverse could be that there's a decision that needs to be made, but you are doing whatever you can to avoid it. Just on a very mundane level, the Lovers in reverse can speak to just love relationships, or feeling as though things aren't going the way that you want them to go. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news. I just want to empower you with this information. The silver cloud right here in the very middle of them makes me want to tell you that there is a silver lining in this situation, and that you need to dig for it, that it may not be apparent. Because it's dealing with the Lovers, it can be highly emotional. I mean, love relationships are emotional. Once again, understand that Capricorn, you are dealing with Pluto going through your sign in a very slow transit. This could be a part of that transformation that Pluto is bringing to you. The breakdown of old relationships to bring in new ones. It doesn't look that way right now in the astrology, but that doesn't mean that that isn't coming forth, or that is what needs to be let go of in this eclipse cycle. Now, like I said, that was just the underlying card. Let me write down that number for the numerology portion at the end. The first of the 3 for clarity is the World in reverse. So you've got the Lovers as the outcome in reverse, and you've got the World starting out as the reverse. This is the 21st major arcana card. 2 plus 1 is 3, and that is a Gemini ruled house. This is a card that represents Gemini, so that could be important. Geminis may be important in this. But the third house speaks to communication, short distance journeys, siblings, cousins, and neighbors. the fact that it's dealing with communication and it says the world in it makes me always bring those together for like the World Wide Web. I mean, every one of the addresses for pretty much anything that you used to do online always started out with www, and that was for World Wide Web. And it represents the connectivity between us and the ideas that are represented in that, you know, the circle that represents us and the connection between us. As a major arcana card, the world represents the planner. If I could speak. Hello, Mercury in shadow. The world card represents the planet Saturn, which represents structure, limitation, and containment, and you are having that in your 12th house. You could feel like your world is going, like literally your world is turned upside down, which makes a lot of sense with Pluto going through and having this full moon lunar eclipse in your 2nd house. It can feel like, probably like the shit has honestly hit the fans, and you're wondering when it's going to stop. And you know, I wish I had that answer for you. I don't. But maybe this guidance can help. In the upright, the world for me represents liberation, like utopic peace. The fact that it is in the reverse can definitely speak to feeling oppressed in some way or very much in some sort of discord. You could be having stressful communications with your lover or romantic partner. You may find out that your romantic partner has a lover, because the next card was the Fool in reverse, and it pairs with the card that just kind of dropped out at the very beginning as I was shuffling, which is the Nine of Cups in reverse. The Nine of Cups in reverse is traditionally the like the wishes card. It's you have everything that you want and then some. This is the wish come true card, and you feel like your wishes have turned in, or like your dream come true was actually a nightmare, and you feel like the fool for it, is how it's literally laying out in front of me. The Fool is the first major arcana card, but because it's listed as the 0, I see this normally if it shows up for a new moon reading, I see it as the seed that needs to be planted, because this is the beginning. But I also see this as dealing with the eclipse as well. As just a major arcana card, the Fool represents the planet Uranus, and Uranus is in Aries, which is dealing with your 4th house. The 4th house speaks to home and family. Home is where you live or where you consider home to be. Family is your parents, the people you consider to be parents, your immediate family, children and fur babies. It speaks to your roots and your foundation. That can be the roots that make you feel solid and stable, or the literal foundation of your home, or the foundation that makes you feel safe and secure. The Fool also represents Aries for me, because it's the initiation of the Arcana and the Tarot deck. It's the very beginning. But Uranus is the planet of shocks and surprises, change, liberation, and rebellion. And like I said, you've got that going on in your 4th house that I just spoke about. So for me, it feels like you're getting information about a love situation or a partnership that I mean, the rug has literally been pulled from underneath of you because of all of these cards in reverse. With the Wish card mirroring the Fool card, it's like you really felt like everything was fine, and not only is it not fine, the ground that you've been walking on is very unstable and has been washing away for a while. The erosion is something that hasn't been apparent to you. And that's no judgment. That's how you feel. You had no idea this was coming. The one thing I can say is that the female, the angel, whoever you want to represent this as being in the reverse, and the Fool in reverse are both looking in the same direction. And the direction that they're looking to is the third and final card that I pulled for you, which was the Queen of Swords upright. And I see this being you standing up for yourself, or this is you debating or arguing or stating your case or arguing your case or trying to persuade. The Queen of Swords represents for me, it's like a lawyer type energy. Also, like, I do debate in college, and I took the summer off, but after the fire, my house fire, that I'm sure many of you have heard me speak about before, I started seeing people astrologically like, oh, that's an air sign, oh, that's a fire sign, oh, that... So I see people like that now. I can't help it. And in debate world, I see a lot of Queen of Swords. So debate, argumentation, using your words, using your mind, logic, rhetoric, that sort of thing. On point, fair and balanced because you're upright. Even though it's like your world has been turned upside down, you see the clarity of the situation. Even though you felt like a fool, you're going to stand your ground and say, you have done X, Y, and Z, and this is where you have disrespected me. The best thing to do in those kind of situations, and this is coming from somebody who has survived divorce, and it is a survival process, don't... And if you've got any water in your chart, bless your heart, it's going to be even harder. I'm Scorpio riser, so the struggle is real. But do your best to explain the situation and don't get lost in your emotions or how you felt about it. The further you can detach from your emotions, the more you embrace becoming the Queen of Swords, who can actually argue the points of the case and not get lost in the emotions of it. The second you start to recount the why you made me feel that way, then you get pulled into the emotion of it. And for me, when I recount stories, if it was something that deeply hurt me, it's almost like reliving it, having to tell it again. It can be very cathartic. I am one of those kind of people that has to talk something to death. Can you tell? And so this may be something that you have to do as well. You may want to seek the counsel of a lawyer or a stable-minded air sign quality type friend. The air signs are Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. I don't know if I gave you that information or not. We are having this full moon in Aquarius in your second house. So this could be that all of this stuff is happening before the full moon lunar eclipse. And it's like once you see... The eclipse is like turning on a light switch and then off and then back on. That darkness gives you a chance to have your eyes reacclimate, and when the light comes back on, you see things just a little bit differently than you did before. That's kind of what the eclipses do. They give you a different perspective, a shift in change, if you will. A shift or change in view, if you will. And this eclipse may be exactly what you need to bring on this Queen of Swords energy. So embrace the idea of being more mental. Embrace the idea of being more balanced and harmonious. And if you have to be abstract, if you have to just say, I need some time. But she is your saving grace in this spread, the Queen of Swords, and you can adopt her traits or her qualities, or you can actually go to someone and seek their advice. And this is the court cards for swords is also like seeking the advice of a professional, and that could be a counselor, that could be a lawyer, that could be an advocate, that could be, you know, just a good friend that knows you and knows the story, but is not emotionally involved in the relationship, so can probably give better advice than, say, you know, you or the person that you're involved with, or this other individual in this situation could, because everything else here is on the reverse except for her. And she's very clear-headed. There's There's not even one cloud around her. But her words can be very sharp. So, and do not lie to her. She will know. She will know. Not that you would lie, but I mean, just saying. Alright, and you got the 6 for the Lovers, the 21 for the World, so that's 27. 9 of Cups is 36. 3 plus 6 is 9, and that is your 9th house. And that is where Mercury is going to be going retrograde. So, the 9th house deals with long-distance trips, adventure, questing, religion, philosophy, higher education, legal system matters. So, there may be some legal system matters that you want to talk to a professional about. That's not to say that, you know, everybody's going to have a horrible relationship, but the spread that came up for the general reading for Capricorns was what fell. And I read it with my gut and with the numbers and just looking at the pictures. I try to break it down. I mean, bringing you these messages are like literally peeling back the onion layers. So, I hope that this part spoke to you. Let's move on to the Healing and Meditation Oracle card. And this guy, like I said, has made itself quite known. Creativity is in the 5th house, which is ruled by Leo. And right now, the sun is still in Leo. So that could speak to some, you know, need or drive or desire to be creative or start some creative endeavors. The creativity card reads, in the moment of creativity, there is a flow of energy and expression of imagination that can be health-giving as well as deeply fulfilling. Hold the memory of that moment in your mind and try to recapture it in your meditation. Since creativity is often a collaborative process, this meditation may be carried out more successfully in the company of others than when you are alone, but frequent practice will encourage your creative juices to flow nonetheless. Consider the following, Capricorn. I am immersing myself in the creative process. The goal is to produce a work of art that will make me proud. Creative energy will flow to every part of my body, boosting my health and sense of contentment. I will let the creative flow embrace and inspire the people around me. This card is inspiring me to tell y'all about what I've been doing. Aside from this channel, if I feel like I can't calm the voices in the back of my head, I will pull out an adult coloring book with my color pencils and start coloring, and it actually is quite therapeutic, so you may want to consider that. I hope it helps. If it does, please comment down below and share your experience with us. You got 2 Sacred Rebel Oracle deck cards. The first is Free from Judgment, Free to Love, which really even backs up the romance part of this reading. And I didn't intend for it to be a love reading, but it feels like it's definitely dealing with relationships or partnerships that are very close to you. Free from Judgment, Free to Love. The card is 39. 9 plus 3 is 12. You are having a Mars and Saturn conjunction in your 12th house, which may bring on some pretty difficult dreams, or it may be a very stressful but karmic time for you. I think that this also is confirmation for you to let go of your judgment of the partner that you are with, which is a difficult message for me to give to you. But once you release yourself from that judgment, it allows you to be free to love again. And that's ultimately what this is about. It's not about being the better person, even though it ultimately makes you the better person. It's about trying your best to neutralize that karma and allow yourself to move on from it without just kind of wallowing in the wound, which is something that can very much happen. Capricorn, you're very strong, very, very serious individuals, but when your heart is wounded, your heart is wounded. This backs up the creativity card that came forth with the healing and meditation, because the word wants to be written. Creativity doesn't have to be just painting. You can pick up a pencil or a pen or start typing away on your computer or your tablet, even your phone. Journaling helps a lot with the process as well. And it's fun to look back at the transitions and the process, the evolutionary process that you go through. Reading your own inner monologue from years ago, I highly recommend it. It's a great way to see how much you've grown in a very tangible way right there in front of you. The butterflies for me represent 8th house energy, and that is the house of Scorpio, which is representative of sexuality, regeneration, transformation, metamorphosis, other people's money, primal or basic instinct, life, death, rebirth. So that's a very transformational type of energy. This can definitely help speak to the whole Pluto transit that is going through Capricorn right now. But let's see what the guidebook wants to bring forth. Oh, I hope I don't cry. My Pisces best friend is a Capricorn rising, so if you're a long-time viewer, you understand why I would be emotional. If not, and I get emotional, I'll explain. Free from Judgment, Free to Love reads, this oracle comes with a message for you. You are learning about mothering and being mothered. You might not do this in the typical way. It might be through bearing children, but it could be through adopting children, raising children, or otherwise taking care of children and loving them as if they were your own. You might be learning how to mother on a rather different scale, working with groups, communities, causes, or purposes that need your devotion, energy, your belief in their value, and your willingness to be the tigress or supportive shoulder to lean on in order to bring those worthwhile groups to life. You may also be an aspect of the universal level, of the universal mother, on a spiritual level. Some people that do this are male, others are female. Some have children and some do not. Some are healers and some work in seemingly more ordinary professions. But they have a mothering aspect in common, and they love and respect life. They believe in life, and they are moved by compassion and are genuinely encouraging and respectful of people. Rather than taking perverse delight when someone stumbles, they want to help. They are ordinary people with an extraordinary natural tendency to nurture the life around them. This oracle brings to you the confirmation that you are amongst the universal spirit's special clan of nurturing spirits that help to honor life on this planet. You are also being asked to open up to receive more nurturing. You can do this for yourself. You can also choose to open up and allow others to nurture you. It might make you feel vulnerable at first, especially if you're not used to doing this, but you don't have to worry. You can get used to valuing yourself enough to know that needing love and affection from another is an opportunity, not only for you to receive, but for someone else to give, which involves them being received as well. If you are tired and have been taking care of everyone else, then take some time to shift the pattern and allow life to support you too. The Universal Mother helps the helpers, so as they keep helping, they will be nurtured too. It works rather well, you see. For those that give so much also receive abundantly. This is also a confirmation. If you are interested in working with children, the inner child, or with art therapy, art therapy healing, or any other sort of uninhibited creative expression that helps dislodge social conditioning and opens one up to a more spontaneous, feeling-based existence, then yes, go ahead and do it. This message also or this oracle also brings you a message of love. You may find that you are loving or will soon love in a different way. You may worry about this love, given that it defies what you have known or have been taught about love. Perhaps you are becoming able to love another tremendously, even though you don't have much of a personal relationship with them. You might question if this love is real. It is real, and it is just happening at a different level to the love and attachment you experience when you are involved in a personal relationship with someone. It is not more or less. It is just a different facet of love. You are affirmed in this love too. Finally, this oracle has a message for those who may be feeling alone or lonely or in need of greater nurturing from others. You are allowed to stop, relax, center, and settle into your body and to feel your connection with life itself. The air in your lungs is the same air that moves the trees, and the water in your blood is the same that fills the oceans and is moved by the phases of the moon. The flesh of your body is the same substance as the body of the earth itself, and the heat in your digestive system is the same fire and heat as that from the sun. Feel the connection and then do something nice for another without agenda. That's it. You've connected to life again, and in doing so, life can connect with you. And so it shall. And the word wants to be written. This oracle brings you a message that what you are dreaming of or seeking to do, create, live, or manifest is actually very natural for you, and that is why you want to do it. What you want to write, sing, dance, or become is natural because it's you. So drop your defenses and get into the grit and confront the power that any old shaming has had over you, because it's finished now. This oracle brings you the guidance that you are now powerful enough to break the cycle, and it's time to stop the shame and claim yourself in love instead. It's time for you to be naked with yourself and acknowledge how gorgeous you are and to get on with your work. Life is urging you to do so because the work wants to happen. What you want to create wants to be created, and the word wants to be written. You just need to let go of any remnants of the past that have been in your way, so step firmly over them and onto your new path, which I think is absolutely stinking gorgeous for a full moon lunar eclipse message. Capricorn, I hope that this reading was illuminating for you. If you enjoyed it, please like and share. I'm happy that you did. If you're new here and you enjoyed it, please just subscribe. I would be thrilled for that as well. To all of the new viewers and new subscribers, thank you so much for being here. I'll be back in early September for another eclipse video, and I'll also be around for the lunations. So just be kind to yourself and understand that everyone is experiencing this energy in different portions of their lives and different levels of their lives, some more consciously than others. And breathe, baby, breathe. They're going through a very deep transformational process, and it's many, many years in the making. So, the best thing I can think of to inspire you is just a little, I don't know if it's an actual quote, but it's something I saw on a Facebook meme, and I've shared it several times in the activism that I do. And it's a Mexican proverb that says, "They tried to bury us, but we were seeds." Capricorn, you're a seed, and right now you're going through hell trying to burst through that topsoil. You'll get there eventually, but birth is a traumatic process, and this is a rebirth for you. Please take care of yourself and be kind to yourself, and try to extend the same kindness to others. I hope that you enjoyed this video series. I'll see y'all in September, but until then, take care of yourselves, and namaste, y'all.